Welcome to a journey through chess history, where legends are born and every move tells a story. Today, we dive into the mind of the patriarch of Soviet chess, Mikhail Botvinnik.
In this special episode, you'll witness 6 iconic games straight from his legendary book, Analytical and Critical Works.
Game numbers 7, 79, 80, 83, 136, and 306, each a masterpiece, each a lesson. Every position, every sacrifice, and subtle maneuver reflects a lifetime pursuit of chess perfection. Let's relive Botvinnik's most brilliant moments, feel the spirit of his era, and unlock timeless secrets of chess strategy. Prepare to be inspired. The masterpieces of Botvinnik begin now.
Imagine a 14-year-old prodigy defeating the reigning world chess champion. This is Leningrad, 1925. The boy is Mikhail Botvinnik. The champion is José Raúl Capablanca.
This game was played during a simultaneous exhibition, where Capablanca faced top Soviet players all at once. On one board, Botvinnik, just a teenager, would write chess history. Capablanca opens with the classic Queen's Gambit. Botvinnik responds confidently, exchanging pieces and challenging the champion's signature style. Mid-game, Botvinnik sacrifices pawns, gains activity, and starts building pressure. Capablanca, known for flawless technique, feels the heat from the young challenger. Here's the turning point: Capablanca miscalculates, loses material, and suddenly the advantage slips away. A few precise moves, and Capablanca admits defeat. He mixes the pieces on the board, a universal sign of resignation. At just 14, Botvinnik achieves a legendary victory over the world champion.
Even the greatest champions can be surprised by young talent. Could you defeat a grandmaster at 14? Subscribe for more epic chess stories and legendary encounters.
In 1936, at the prestigious Nottingham tournament, all eyes were on the game between rising Soviet star Mikhail Botvinnik and world champion Alexander Alekhine. This clash was more than just a battle of moves, it was a meeting of generations. Alekhine was already a chess icon, renowned for bold combinations and world-class preparation. For Botvinnik, this was the ultimate test. Could he prove himself on the world's biggest stage? The game entered a sharp Sicilian line, both players well prepared, each subtlety reflecting years of study. Alekhine pressed confidently, seeking the slightest misstep to launch his attack. Mid-game tension rose as central files opened and both kings came under fire. Alekhine's pawn play tried to restrict Botvinnik's pieces, building pressure with every move. After a tense 20-minute think, Botvinnik discovered a forced perpetual check sequence. And without hesitation, he went for it. He courageously sacrificed 2 knights in the heart of the complications, forcing Alekhine into a perpetual check and securing the draw. This quiet, brilliant resource stunned the spectators and even the world champion himself. The fireworks subsided. Despite Alekhine's preparation and sharp intentions, Botvinnik's resilience and cool calculation proved unbreakable. The game was drawn, but both reputations only grew. This encounter showcased the highest level of strategic depth and practical defense. With accurate analysis and nerves of steel, even the world champion's plan could be held in check. In chess, as in life, sometimes the best result is earned not through wild attacks, but by trusting calculation and a cool mind when it matters most. At Nottingham, a new grandmaster made his mark on history.
Today, we're diving into a legendary face-off, Capablanca vs Botvinnik, Nottingham 1936. Queen's Indian defense, chess fireworks, are you ready?
Did you know? Capablanca rarely studied chess books or spent time on theory. He trusted his natural talent and unmatched intuition at the board. But here, he paid close attention to the latest openings, watched the tournament's games. And if he found something useful, he'd use it against exactly the right opponent.
Welcome to the Archive Checklist. Today, we're diving into a legendary face-off, Capablanca vs Botvinnik, Nottingham 1936. Queen's Indian defense, chess fireworks, are you ready?
On move 6, the sharper path was queen takes d4, keeping both bishops on the board. But Capablanca loved exchanging pieces early, aiming for an endgame he could dominate.
After move 11, f3 and d5, a position appeared that, according to chess theory, wouldn't return to tournament practice for 40 more years. They were way ahead of their time. Grandmaster Boleslavsky highlighted. If white played bishop to e3 on move 14, they'd fight for real initiative. But in the actual game, both players circled, waiting for a slip.
After white's queen moved to b1 and black's to b7, it looked like Botvinnik held the better position. But with Capablanca, nothing's ever that simple. If black tried rook to d7, the open d-file would be decisive. But Capablanca calmly balanced and kept things even.
Move 28, white's queen reaches d8. Botvinnik offers a draw. Capablanca says, not now. His queen is dominant, he's ready to push for a win. But after pawn moves, b5, b4, a6, real victory slips away. Finally, Capablanca offers a draw himself.
Afterwards, Capablanca spent half an hour grilling Botvinnik with endless analysis, trying to prove white had winning chances everywhere. Botvinnik answered everything, passed this exam. And Capablanca, finally satisfied, agreed to the draw. And then, a classic twist. Botvinnik smiled and said, "You couldn't beat me today. It's my 25th birthday." Even Capablanca had to laugh, and both players shared a genuine moment.
What do you think, was Capablanca right to fight on? Or did Botvinnik's birthday bring him luck? Share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more chess legends, and see you at the board next time. Welcome to Chess History Unlocked. Today, we're spotlighting a true positional attack. Botvinnik vs Vidmar, Nottingham 1936. This game is all about turning small advantages into a decisive kingside strike. It starts out quietly, classic Queen's Gambit decline structure. Both sides develop solidly, aiming for control over the center and optimal piece placement. But keep your eye on Botvinnik's subtle moves, each piece glides into better squares, loading up for action on the kingside. Right from move 13, Botvinnik brings his knight to e5, doubling down on central tension, not rushing, but waiting for the right moment. Vidmar defends, but cracks start to show. Now the fireworks, Botvinnik pushes f4, f5, opening lines. And then, boom! 19.rx f5. Sacrificing the exchange on f5 to unleash white's pieces. Classic Botvinnik, calculated risk, flawless calculation. Vidmar tries to regroup, but white floods the board. Nx f7, rx d5, rd6, rd7. The rook and bishops invade, and black's position simply collapses, no way to hold. The result? A textbook masterpiece. Quiet build-up, a sudden exchange sacrifice, and perfect conversion. That's why this game is studied by generations of players. Would you have played the exchange sacrifice on f5? Or played it safe? What's your favorite Botvinnik attack? Let us know in the comments, and subscribe for more legendary chess battles.
Hi, this is Retro Chess. Today I've got a real chess gem for you, Mikhail Botvinnik vs Isaac Boleslavsky, the 13th USSR Championship, Moscow 1944. French defense, get ready for a true fireworks display on the board.
The game starts off with the classic French defense e4, e6, d4, d5. Botvinnik is white, future world champion, and Boleslavsky plays black, young and ambitious. Botvinnik gradually builds up pressure in the center, while Boleslavsky looks for counterplay on the queen side. The tension is growing with every move. Here, Boleslavsky comes up with a bold pawn sacrifice, a surprise decision to open the game and try to throw Botvinnik off balance. But Botvinnik keeps his cool and finds precise defensive moves. And watch this move, for example, nb6. Or f6. This is a critical moment. A single mistake could decide everything. Hit pause and think, what would you do here? Positions like this show true champion skills. Botvinnik finds the best continuation and steers the game into a winning endgame. Around move 30, the game explodes with exchanges, and an endgame unfolds. White pieces start squeezing black's defenses, but Boleslavsky has one last chance, and again, Botvinnik sees everything. After a series of accurate moves, Botvinnik wins a pawn, and the advantage gradually becomes decisive. And there it is, a beautiful win by Botvinnik in a classic game that still makes it into chess textbooks. If you enjoyed this, drop a like, let me know if you want more legendary games reviewed, and suggest which one to analyze next. Don't forget to subscribe to Retro Chess.
Not just for his words, but for his bold, dynamic play. In this game, I chose the Grunfeld defense, relying on analysis I prepared years earlier for Smyslov. Fischer knew my Rogozin system well. Soon, we settled into the Smyslov variation, both comfortable, both deeply prepared. Long castling could have promised more for white, but I opted for caution. In hindsight, queen to b3 was worth consideration, something I'd studied in the past. After black's move e6, we believed the position was balanced. But Fischer soon grabbed the initiative, characteristically playing queen to f6. Even here, white had chances, but the surprise unsettled me, and my next moves were weak. By move 22, Fischer had an extra pawn, but my pieces stayed active. Black tried to limit my options, but slipped slightly, leaving me with only a slim chance. At move 32, my error, bishop to g4, reduced any hopes of saving the game. Rook e1 would have offered more resistance. By move 40, as black's king advanced, the real endgame fight began. A player like Smyslov would have marched his king to d6, ending things on the queen side. Instead, at move 41, Fischer underestimated the struggle, rushed his play, and let me fight back. My defense irritated him, and he started to take risks. In the rook endgame, small mistakes from Fischer gave me new hopes. On move 42, after bishop and rook exchanged on e4, the struggle continued. On move 43, rook to c7 would have been ideal, but after hours at the board, such accuracy is hard to find, even Fischer overlooked the clearest win. By the 68th move, after king to g1, Fischer, pale and exhausted, silently offered his hand. It was a draw after a titanic struggle. But the game didn't end at the board. For a long time, experts debated whether black had a win in that endgame, analyzing moves in newspapers and magazines. In the end, this legendary game showed what it means to fight to the last move, determination, precision, and stubborn will.
That's all for today's remarkable chess battles. We hope you enjoyed diving into these classic moments. For more legendary games and chess wisdom, make sure to follow our channel. Until next time, keep your mind sharp and play boldly.